Hello everyone, we are back with round 3 action. We have an exciting game ahead of us as we have Hot Hands versus Gray Maggots. But don't be alarmed by their name. Sora is a relatively common name in the NA scene, so this will be another really high quality match in the NA Dota scene. Again with me is Nizcast as always, and hopefully he is as hyped about this game as I am.
I am. We got to see a few games, I believe, from Hot Hands Hand Warmers in the tournament on Sunday, and they didn't disappoint. So hopefully they're going to step up to the plate here and have a good matchup against Gray Maggots. As you said, there's Sora is a name that a lot of people recognize in the NA Dota scene. So yeah, everything kind of starting off normal, but we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah. Meepo ban, and definitely respecting the potential pick coming out of them. I believe when we saw Hot Hands lose, if I recall the game correctly, that was that Meepo game.
Yeah.
No.
It was
Lycus was on their team, right?
No. It was it was actually played 2 games on Sunday. It was played in the finals by Lycus, and in the semifinals, Hot Hands Hand Warmers. That's when they lost. And it was played by Monib.
That's correct.
And
Meepo
he
actually
played
lost
a really good
games
Meepo
that day, if I recall correctly.
Reserve time.
I think. I can't.
He lost both games, Meepo.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. You know, Meepo, when in the right hands, is an absolutely terrifying hero. I, personally believe that. Despite the haters, Meepo can take a game over on his own right and can just snowball out of control. Of course, Doom and Lycan, rather common faces in this phase of the banning stage. We'll see if Faceless Void, Razor, Viper, or Brewmaster, or even Rasta is the final of the 5 other heroes that we tend to see more regularly here. And it will be the Faceless Void. So that, of course, leaves the other heroes that I mentioned, the Rasta, the Razor, the Viper, Tidehunter. Honestly, the list goes on and on. There are a ton of strong heroes, but Razor will be picked up. Brewmaster still in the pool. Tidehunter as well. So, interesting how open this pool is, I have to say.
It's weird that it does feel really open, considering 3 of these bans are pretty standard bans that we've seen. And when we haven't seen Void picked or banned, he's got picked immediately as well. So the only real difference has been the Meepo ban, but it does feel a lot more open. It's kind of weird how that
10 seconds
that's the case. But I'm hoping we're going to see a little bit of the watermelon, the Tidehunter, get
Yes.
back to. I love that hero.
Or the Blueberry. Enigma is also very entertaining to watch, and definitely a well-played Enigma in the last game for those of you who are here with us. Your boy JC, definitely doing that hero some good justice. But we do see the Skywrath Mage as the counter pick here, and honestly it's a really strong hero. It gives you lane domination. The only big downfall to Skywrath, because we've talked about what he can do quite a bit today already, is he's just 0 armor, low base strength, and low base strength gain. Or low strength gain. I guess you can't actually increase your strength gain by any ways. So, his strength gain and his base strength is very low. But Brewmaster, definitely a hero that can create enough chaos that you're not going to be able to really get onto that Skywrath Mage. And of course, Brewmaster right now, #1 pick ban in the competitive pro scene. Also with a about 62% win rate last time I checked.
Yeah, it's just one of those heroes where if you've got the skill to use that hero, once you pop his ult to the maximum, he can do a lot in a team fight. He's got a lot of tools in his on his tool belt there, and he can just his cyclone just lasts so long, and his stun you keep stunning heroes. You can do so much damage to that hero, and I'm interested to see if maybe that's going to be played by Monib, because he's shown his prowess on the Meepo. So maybe it's another micro hero.
It is, and honestly, the timing that terrifies me the most about Brewmasters is that Aghanims, because if he initiates with clap and then gets the split and then claps again, it's like 8 seconds of a... Oh God, I'm gonna have to look it up, but at max level, 55% movement slow, and it's a burst of over 500 damage just right off the bat. And the more heroes he connects on, the better it is. Earthshaker, however, will be the return fire pick here. Tidehunter getting removed, of course, as that is just a terrifying teamfight reset hero as well as a teamfight starting hero. But Earthshaker, to point out, to speak on that a little bit, very strong against Brewmaster. You can zone the Brewlings with Fisher. Echo Slam does extra echoes from the Brewlings, and but on the same side, Skywrath Mage casually Arcane Seals him. And what does Earthshaker do? So definitely looking for both players to be doing their jobs here and which one gets the jump on the other, as Viper and Rasta are the follow-up bans.
Yeah, both teams have shown that they're liking some long range initiate and saying, you know what, if we both teams decide here to go safe lane with their tri lane, then you know what, your off laner's not going to get much, because we got Skywrath who can initiate from 3 maps away. We've got Earthshaker who Fissure is really really long range, and he's going to block you off. You're not going to be able to go anywhere, so you can't be playing greedy. And yeah, they're just showing that, you know what, your offlaner's not going to get a damn thing this game. And they banned out the Tidehunter because Tidehunter is actually a really great hero to do with the Earthshaker initiate. Earthshaker jumps in, echoes. His team's going to come in and rush, put a lot of pressure on you on the back of that, and then Tidehunter, as soon as he's out of that stun lock, he's going to be getting a huge ravage. So yeah, that's a pretty standard ban there, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to stunlock a Tidehunter, honestly. It requires... Stunlocking a Tidehunter is actually the opposite than you would normally stunlock a hero, where you would, chain your stuns one after another in good succession. With Tidehunter, if you want to stunlock him, you just throw everything and hope you kill him in that duration, because Kraken Shell is honestly one of my favorite abilities in the game. But yeah, he is banned out, so we can kind of move on from him. Tinker is the final ban from Hot Hands, and I really like that decision. Tinker March eviscerates Brewmaster. It zones, which allows Razor and Earthshaker to do more. And honestly, he can hit a critical mass. And if you're going to go for a hero like Weaver, honestly banning out heroes that can deal with the split pressure, as well as just the annoying nature of Weaver by, throwing down a March to zone control, is going to be really helpful. Silencer is the fire back here, and again, a Silencer with that last word, very good against Weaver. If he time lapses, he can't Sakuchi afterwards, and if he Sakuchis or bugs, he can't use his other spells. Of course, the Global Silence is incredibly strong against Brewmaster.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I'm actually, how does Weaver do against Razor?
I mean, from my personal experiences, I would say pretty well, because
I'm not gonna see it, so.
No, yeah, Nature's Prophet will most likely be going up against him. But if they choose to put the Weaver against Razor, he can't use Static Link build, right? Doesn't work. You're just going to Sakuchi away, and the cooldown on Sakuchi level 1 is shorter than the cooldown on Static Link. However, if he chooses to max Static or Plasma Field, Weaver is a really squishy hero, so that can come to deal quite a bit of damage to Weaver. So it's a little bit of an interesting push-pull in that wave, and I think it really is. Some matchups, it's so even in a lot of ways that it just comes down to player execution and player skill. It's never, one hero is massively dominant over the other, and I think that's kind of how Razor and Weaver would be. Prophet and Razor, though, are also the same way. It really just comes down to which player in the lane is having the better game and is able to control the other opponent better.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that lane is actually, it's on the Nature's Prophet. I think you can do a lot with the trees. I think the positioning's on you. If you misstep as a Furion, the Razor's gonna really punish you for it. But you do have an escape. You've got the Sprout to try and help you get away if he gets a big link on you. But that isn't that reliable, especially in the early game when people still have tangos, or if Razor decides to pick up a Quelling Blade, which he probably wouldn't. But yeah, I think a lot of the onus is on the Furion to not misstep. So I have to say that it is pretty even lane, but I'd rather be the Furion in that matchup. Morphling. Okay.
Definitely an interesting pick there. Morphling, however, does offer a lot against what Hot Hands is bringing out, and the reason I say that is mainly because Morphling is going to be impossible to kill once he gets that Lincoln Sphere. There are good ways to break the Lincoln Sphere, of course. Skywrath Mage has his own lot of spells, as well as Sprout. Brewmaster with his Drunken Haze, but if you don't burst the Morphling and control him outright, he's one of those heroes that can just do so much damage from his right clicks over time, his dodging of spells with waveform, obviously replicating out after you've used a bunch of your spells on him. And the Silencer will help Morphling and Earthshaker kind of run wild in the fight if the global is timed out properly, and also assuming that Hot Hands puts themselves in that position, right? Because they do have the Prophet and the Weaver to apply split pressure, and yeah, you have the Morphling, but can he handle 2 split pushers? Final bans will be Tree and Clockwork as we do move into the final pick stage of this game and can get underway very soon.
I remember there being something a little weird about Skywrath's interaction with Lincoln's.
5 seconds.
Is it his...
Arcane
that
Bolt
the-
does not pop Lincoln's until it hits.
Until it hits. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so Arcane
Okay.
Seal is obviously an instacast, so you gotta time that very well. But again, Drunken Haze is also relatively instacast because it breaks the Lincolns when that little shotted alcohol hits Morphling. But the travel time for obviously Drunken Haze is incredibly quick compared to Arcane Bolt. Enigma will be the final pickup, and that gives them another spell to help break Lincolns. And also, Black Hole is both silence and stun. You cannot strength morph during Black Hole.
They also pick that into a silencer. So
Yeah.
they're not relying on strictly getting great black holes, but they want the threat to be there. They want the silencer to have to hold on to it.
Right, and that was going to be my
Respect-
question slash thought I wanted to throw at you is the Brewmaster blinks in, initiates, forces out the silencer ult, and then Enigma has free reign.
5 seconds.
Or,
remaining.
like you said, Silencer chooses to hold the ultimate, and then Brewmaster gets free reign with his split.
It's actually weird, but that Enigma pick, thinking, at first look, why are you picking Enigma into silencer? But it does free up a bunch of space for that Weaver. That, like I said, they have to hold on to that global silence to deal with the Enigma. And because of that, Weaver can, know that he's got a certain window that he can work
10
around
seconds remaining.
to deal with the global silence. Does it always work out perfectly, like I'm imagining here on paper? No, it doesn't. But, it gives them a little bit more flexibility. So you see them finish out their lineup with Death Prophet. So that is a support silencer. So they're going to be using it completely different than we saw it used in the last game.
Yes, but he still can get to that same portion. Honestly, the last thought I kind of want to extract out of you before we get into this game is different stages of the game, assuming a vacuum and, the draft plays haven't happened, etc. Where are you favoring each team as the game goes on?
I think...
Because that was my thought. Like, I honestly think this game could go to the epic 100-minute mark if the teams are completely evenly clashed in every single engagement.
I think... one sec here. I think I like the Dire team as the game goes later. I know. I feel like I say this all the time, but I feel like it's really going to be telling in the early game to mid game transition. Like whatever team seems to be doing well, I think it's on Hot Hands hand warmers to be in a good position at that point in the game. I feel like they can't fall behind. I feel like if they do fall behind, they're going to be in a lot of pressure. I feel like that's the point in the game where they need to really take control of the map and start, getting ahead in some way at that point, whether it be through split push, whether it be through just, pickoffs, using their mobility. But I feel like, I feel like I like Hot Hands hand warmers fairly early into the game. I feel like they went, this is weird, I feel like they went more greedy, considering the other team has a support silencer as well, but and an offlane razor. But I think overall I like the Grey Maggots team better.
Okay, I can agree with that. Although I definitely want to echo that this game is going to be very interesting based on how the early portions of this game works out. We will have an early engagement possibly, so we'll get through these introductions quickly. We have Hot Hands on the Radiant side. For them, we have Cheech, the captain, picking up the Carry Weaver. Moniv, the Meepo extraordinaire, on the mid Brewmaster this game. Melisum on the support Enigma in the jungle. We have Gerber on the Skywrath Mage. I'm not going to try any harder than that. And Drop on the offlane Nature's Prophet. And we'll get over here to the Dire side.
Alright, on the Dire side for the Grey Maggots, actually I might have to hold my introduction here as...
This action might just heat up immediately, although they should have vision of each other. Ward does go down over here to block the Enigma camp. Actually, Skywrath Mage throws out the concussive shot, but it misses because they weren't in vision. Fisher comes out as well, last word. They do not have a follow-up stun. Maybe Monib wants to turn around and go for the clap, but no. It looks like this will kind of just disengage here as wards are thrown out. Posturing is happening on the right hand side, but there is no stuns to follow this up.
All right, introducing the Gray Maggots here, as I think there's no threat of any engagement here. We have Minazuki Sora on the Death Prophet. We have PPD. I don't know if that's the real Peter Pandam, PPD, but he's playing Silencer. We have Orion Aquosus playing the Razor. We got Nifini?
Sounds right to me.
Nifini? I don't know if it's supposed to be backwards or what. Playing the Earthshaker, and we have American Psycho on that middle lane. Oh no, it's not middle lane. It's going to be the tri-lane Morphling. Interesting.
Aggressive tri-lane.
Aggressive tri-lane Morphling Silencer.
And actually, unfortunate already for Hot Hands is this ward does not see the Sentry ward blocking up his camp over here, and this ward also misses this ward. So unfortunately, Enigma already in a bad stop, and this is where Melisum should just probably use that smoke and immediately go into the other jungle, as there are actually 3 Sentry wards being invested to warding up his jungle. He should really just go ahead and transfer to the other side, to, as we were talking about last game, making that the other team waste their gold to ward the Enigma's jungle.
Yeah, and on first thought, you always kind of think of the Morphling going mid, but this is actually definitely the best lanes I think they could have done. They put the Morphling in the aggressive tri-lane. He's going to get his farm. We saw it last game. You know, Enigma being a jungler means that they only got 2 heroes down here, and if the Gray Maggots devote 3 heroes down here, that Morphling's just going to get complete free farm, and this Weaver's going to get almost nothing. So yeah, I think that's right. And then they just put Death Prophet mid. Death Prophet gets the lanes or the XP that she needs in the solo lane, and then they can hit the ground running as they come out of the lanes with her kind of starting her snowball.
Well, thank you very much, Limnick. It is Berg E.U. Burr, as you say his name, so I will not make that mistake again. And already, Death Prophet doing very well in this mid lane. However, of course, it will be just a trade war. Monib does have that stun as well as, or is not, sorry, the Thunderclap, as well as the Drunken Brawler to help him get last hits. And with the recent change to it, it actually makes last hitting in the mid lane a lot easier as Brewmaster, because between the first and between waves, he guaranteed to get that crit charge up for the next wave, and so he can always get that last hit on that creep wave by just, casually, or that first creep by casually walking up and using that crit. Though bottom lane, the zoning has already really happened. Actually, Weaver, Cheech doing a relatively good job, and personally, I love Weaver against these kind of situations. I think Weaver is an absolutely elusive hero. He's hell to deal with, and even when you have an aggressive tri-lane like this, if he gets off his Sakuchi, you have to guess where he's going to be. They do have one Sentry left, I think, though.
Yeah, but it's on the Earthshaker. They should definitely pass that to the Silencer, because the Earthshaker is most likely going to have to be off to the side. He's going to have to be stunning to block off Weaver's retreat, and he's not going to be in position to drop the Sentry ward. So that should ideally be on Silencer. But Earthshaker's standing in the lane now. He was standing off to the side earlier, but I don't know. I think they have potential to really put a lot more pressure on this Weaver.
And Cheech is actually leading the deny board because of that. Already 5 for 5, but last hit wise, of course, we see the mid lane really even. Spam war is going on during all of the action in bottom, and Enigma did rotate up into the enemy jungle during all of this. Again, I think that's a very intelligent decision. You can already see his gold and last hits and experience are skyrocketing relative to where he was before. A little bit of psychological warfare in the mid lane. There's actually a rotation from Bergy Uber rotating into that top lane of Skywrath Mage drop. Not going to be able to do anything with his teammate. And actually we see Furion saving 2 points until right when I spoke about it. Immediately then getting the Sprout as well as trees. Cheech is a little bit isolated.
Top lane.
Yeah, they're going to go on, and yeah, they do have the static link taking quite a bit of damage from drop here. A total of minus 56 on him, but with the rotation from the Enigma as well as the right clicks from the supports, Bergy Uber is going to get the first kill of this game on Skywrath Mage. That will net him in early boots and make his rotations much more effective.
Yeah, that was actually a really good bait there by Drop. He just kind of stepped up and showed, like I said earlier, if Furion missteps, Razor can really, really punish. And he stood up like that and showed, like, hey, I'm out of position, Razor, and Razor kind of bit. And they got into a little bit of a trading war, which Razor was clearly going to win, but, obviously Furion had backup with both the Skywrath and the rotation from the Enigma, and it led to first blood. So really good play by Drop to kind of set that whole gank up.
Yep, definitely a good job of feeding information to your opponent to make them respond the way you wish them to. Very important concept, and actually in the bottom lane, Cheech might be being baited up. No, never mind. The Earthshaker's going to go secure this bottom rune. Last word goes out as well, Sakuchi. Weaver will just go ahead and run away, and he's happy with the way this lane is going, and he might be sending out his Bassi Ring. No, he's going to go ahead and send out a bottle. So a little bit of a fear style of Weaver here is he will get that bottle, but what this is going to do is basically make it so they can never force him out of this lane, and he's guaranteed to continue to get CS, and the top lane pressure is already continuing as Drop TP's back in the lane, summons some trees, and they're probably going to try to go on Razor here.
Yeah, I actually find that a little interesting that Weaver also picked up a bottle. I think, especially in this matchup, Monib is going to have to really be bottle crowing quite a bit, and with Weaver kind of hogging the crow, he's not really going to be able to do that too much. Or as much as he'd like, but Weaver did hold on to the ball. He's not crowing yet, because obviously Brewmaster needed it, as Razor's in a lot of trouble.
Actually, yeah, he is. He's getting dove under the tower, as he will be cleaned up by
Enigma.
Melisam. Melisam does die to the tower, however. It's actually a kill for Razor. More important that happens rather than him just dying to Dire in general. But that is a very important kill as Drop and the Skywrath Mage, Berguber, can go ahead and pressure this lane. Sora in the middle lane might actually be able to get a kill on Monib as he actually dodges his Crypt Swarm and now pops the ultimate. Will split, throws the stun out as well. Sora down to 360 HP, now 300. 275 Arcane Bolt is flying, as well as the Ancient Seal, and that should be a kill here. Bottle Charge is coming up to prevent this from happening, but Cheech, with the rotation, secures this kill. Actually, Monib securing the kill with the Boulder Toss. Very important, and that's 3, 2, 1. In favor of Hot Hands as this game is kicked off 6 minutes in. And actually, if you go to the Golden Experience graph, again, I don't usually like to look at these things as a major indicator, but it's definitely showing the dominance of the lane advantage that Hot Hands has.
Well, yeah, we expect them to have a little bit of an XP lead, even slightly a gold lead as well, with an Enigma, but yeah, this is more than expected, and that's on the back of 3 kills. His Monib got really, really low, but he does
escape out.
Does escape, and it sounds like it was because of a miss. So Monib actually almost walked into a swarm there and died, but
almost got headshot.
It didn't land. So.
Cheech actually again still getting so much farm. He's going to soon be able to have access to the time lapse.
Potentially going to walk into. Oh no, he can see from the ward. What am I saying?
Well, and Monib doesn't know, though. Monib could try to do something here. He does have that bottle, or DD bottle, but good positioning from, now why am I saying wrong name? Death Prophet. Actually, top lane, the action might be happening right now. Phase Boots active by Drop will allow him to escape. Plasma Field dropping him down to a little under 100 HP, and now Monib actually getting really close to dead here as the Concussive Shot does come out onto Sora, and Monib does not have a split active to him. The Malefice as well as the right clicks might be enough, but no, the turnaround as the rotation from the supports are coming. The Melisam down very low as Cheech actually gets a cleanup kill on the Morphling by himself when his supports rotate away, and that is not a good sign at all coming out from Grey Maggots. You do not want that to happen. You're trying to punish the Weaver, and he just got a turnaround kill. And Monib making a great call as the rotation here gets the DD damage as well as the clap. Doing quite a bit here. Razor dropping down to 50 HP and should fall. No, down to 6 HP. Barely getting away. Monib should have access to a Drunken Haze, but chooses not to use it as Earthshaker. Rotating back towards the middle lane. And Monib a little bit upset about how that went. I don't think he could have changed it, though.
No, he could have. That was a really good read by him to know that the Razor was coming and even timed it properly to step out and attack him. But when he stepped out to attack, he went to throw his first auto attack, and then he clipped it by throwing out his clap a little early. So he actually was one auto attack less than he could have had there, which of course is all he needed to get the kill in the end.
Well, and actually, I'm missing a dive in the middle lane as Brewmaster's already popped his ultimate. He's diving onto the Earthshaker down to 200 HP. However, Monib is now in a very questionable position. The Crypt Storm comes out as well as the last word. This should be his death, as the Curse of the Silence guarantees the tick down to 0 HP. Goes to Silencer. Does he steal Intelligent for that? Yes, he does. Meanwhile, Cheech might be caught out here as he is on the Radiant side the Dire side of the map. He has that Ring of Health, and we'll be able to back out. Static Link was used. Haste Rune going to be secured by him.
One of the things I wanted to point out before they attempted to go on Sora on the Death Prophet in the middle lane, PPD actually noticed the the ward despawning here, and just kind of pinged it out and let his team know that the Radiant ward had just despawned there. Of course,
In the
you can
bottom lane,
see
we're
that.
actually going to see Morphling get soloed up
Oh,
by
wow.
Cheech. Great timing with the Prophet ulti, diving excellently with that haste rune, using his cooldowns very well. But go ahead.
But yeah, just PPD, just noticing that, pinging it out, letting his team know that, hey, their vision just dropped here, they had a ward here, just letting everyone on his team know that, you know, they don't have ward, they don't have vision here right now. And just little things like that go a long way. Just giving your team a little bit more information than they would otherwise have.
Most definitely, as we might actually see some action go ahead and start here in the middle lane. Drunken Haze going out, not much more to follow up. Cheech picking up his Perseverance, and now he has the double regen and the bottle. Cheech actually going to take advantage of this and pressure in the middle lane. They have the Arcane Bolt as well as the Ancient Seal doing quite a bit of damage. They have the bugs on him as well. Access to time lapse
coming in from below.
but no. The mana is not there. Now Earthshaker does have the catch out on them. Can they kill? The Death Prophet doesn't look like drops down to 25 HP. Cheech low, but Moneb will get the kill on the Silencer anyways. Moneb trying to run away, does have one bottle charge available to him. Trop did TP into the base and gets the kill on Sora, but now he is actually in his own predicament as the Fisher does come out, stuns him. Static or Plasma Field has already been used, but Static Link is active on him, doing quite a bit of damage, -4 already. Now trying to juke and jive around. Middle tower will fall to the Skywrath Mage during this, as we'll keep our eyes on this action. His drop is continuing the jukes, but Plasma Field is damn hard to juke as he will be cleaned up here. But Melisam in the area might be able to get the Malefice out onto Earthshaker, and he does with the Arcane Seal as well as the Concussive Shot. But Razor popping that Eye of the Storm to kind of zone them back. We also have the top lines, PPD moving in. Maybe the Static Link means they want to go. They don't really have too much catch out or anything to really help catch out the Radiant team, as Fisher has just come off of cooldown, and that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, Enigma actually just finished his mech on the back of that, and Brewmaster has picked up his Blink Dagger as well. So those are two really good item progression. Core
American
item
Saito
progressions.
is actually forced out of top lane again because of this Cheech, and the Courier goes down. Ooh. Hot hands coming out strong. Blink clap in by Brewmaster hits on 3, does get the split. Now the stun. Follow up onto Death Prophet. She has her ult run and taking quite a bit of damage. 10, 20 HP. Might go down 10. Back down to 10. Now the stun comes out. Should be enough. Is enough. Cleans her up. Now the chase might continue onto the Earthshaker, but no. That will be the end of the chase, as Moneb and his teammate Melisam are happy with that one kill. And Prophet sieging the top lane with his teammate Cheech coming up as well to help siege that tower. And they're all going to rotate up there as 5 and look to take the first T2 of this game. 11 minutes and 36 seconds in.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, this is just them taking advantage of the fact that they're ahead at this point in the game, where I said that, you know, they needed to be ahead, and they need to take advantage of the fact that they at this point in the game they're going to be really strong and they can start taking towers. And they're I think they came out of the early game a little bit better than we expected them to, or certainly than I expected them to. And in this mid game, they've definitely started off on the right foot with taking some towers and getting some good trades. You know, yeah, they made a little bit of mistakes with maybe Moneb going way too deep in the mid lane, but beyond that, I think they've actually done a pretty good job of gaining an advantage by just good trades and tower acquisitions.
Well, and we did just take a look at the items on the stream. We saw a Blink Dagger on Moneb. We saw a Mech on Melisam. We already have the Midas and Phase up on Prophet, but on the other side we have Mechanism shortly coming up for Razor, Midas on the Morphling. But the siege of the middle T2 will continue here, as we actually have Skywrath Mage getting some solo experience in that top lane. Prophet taking the advantage of this pressure and taking that bottom T1 tower. And honestly, right now, with this tower falling, you have to give Roche control majorly to the side of Hot Hands, because they have this T1 to TP2. And as long as this T1 is up with 997 HP, it's going to be a while before they lose that control.
Yeah, and they're probably going to pressure the tier 2 here just to get a response. They probably won't go too deep, commit too hard to it.
Prophet does pick up that Maelstrom.
They got the glyph. That's probably all they wanted.
And the action might actually start off here, as they're not going to back up here. It looks like Melisam and Cheech are completely content with continuing the siege, and honestly, knowing what we know, it's a pretty intelligent decision. However, drop coming in might want to go on the Death Prophet, but a great TP to prevent anything from happening. However, that means that this bottom tower is going to be even more suspect of falling, and should actually fall. Fortify used. The tower is down 2. Tower is falling for the sides of Hot Hands, and my point before about the Roche control is now even more exacerbated, with the only tower
For sure.
Dire has left to defend Roshan with. And actually,
Yeah,
a wraparound on PPD might actually turn into a kill. He is kind of caught off here. It looks like Monib was blinking predictably for where he wanted to go. However, PPD did not go that way. Just runs up the hill and does TP out immediately. Malefice on to Death Prophet, but she will back out as well. No action looking to come of this so far.
Yeah, the Dire team, I don't think they were expectant, or the gray Maggots. I don't think they were expecting Hot Hands to stick around as long as they did at the bottom tier 2. And they even showed Furion, I think it was TPing away. It might have actually been Skyrath. TP'd under Dire Vision. And, Monib actually walked away as well from the bottom lane. It was only just 2 there, but, with no response from the Dire, they'll surely take the free tier 2 as they're taking another free tier 2 mid.
Yep, Earthshaker nowhere near his Blink Dagger. Sorry, excuse me, makes it very hard for him to initiate in those situations. And we actually might see Sora get caught out here. No stuns, however, to follow up right now, and all outer towers are down, like you said. And the other small thing I want to note, the blink in from Brewmaster with the split might be able to get the Razor here. Mechanism is used by him. They did throw up the Death Prophet into the air, so they could turn on this. The Purge is used. Now the Silence coming up, but it, of course, does not affect that Earth Panda. Boulder Toss will come out. Wand Charges are used, bringing her up to 33 HP. After the Prophet ult, it's going to be close. He blinked forward. No one actually hit Monib with any of those attacks, so he will be able to go ahead and run back into this base. He's going to sell an item to try to buy a TP, bottling up Echo Slam used by Earthshaker. But meanwhile, while all this is happening, Monib's team is attacking the T3, and in just a second we'll check that HP. 35 HP. Monib will now finally fall, but T3 down to 500 HP, 400 HP, 300 HP, and should fall momentarily, as this is the first T3 taken in the game, 15 minutes into this game, and honestly, they have no reason to stop because of the amount of abilities that were used. Death Prophet still on the sidelines. Looks like American Psycho wants to move forward, but the Great Ancient Seal onto Earthshaker is going to prevent the Fissure for them to chase, and now they should all just run. Static Link goes on to Nature's Prophet, but it doesn't really get much in the zoning. Midnight Pulse will prevent any pursuit as they all disengage here, getting three free towers, as well as another kill on the Death Prophet.
Yeah, I was just saying, you can take a bunch of free tier 2 towers, but pushing uphill is a completely different story. But Monib showing he's got some brass balls, just blinked right in, and he actually ended up running all over the Grey Maggots base here. I think he just wanted his little panda footprints all over the base. He jumped in middle, ended up at the bottom lane at the tier 3 tower, ran all the way to the fountain, ended up in the top by the tier 3 by the time he died. So he was all over the place, but his team was just kind of parked on that tier 3 tower in the middle lane, and they ended up getting it down.
Well, that's
Just drop, TPing in, and going for the range racks.
This is a very forward and aggressive move, and that range racks will fall. And if you're going to do anything with the Brewmaster, having him play aggressive in zone is exactly what you want to do. But we do see a 3-man silence coming out of the Death Prophet. However, that will wear off. DD still active on Brewmaster as they continue to siege this tower. Ancient Seal as well as the concussive shot dealing quite a bit of damage. Razor forces him to mech himself. Death Prophet also popping that ultimate, but no follow-up mana. She has been spamming Crypt Swarm, and now they will go ahead and back out. And it looks like American Psycho is just going to call the GG. Not sure if this is an actual GG, but it appears to be so, as Sora calls it as well, because the mid-rax is down. They don't really have much to fight here, and there it goes. GG, well played as that game ends. Hot Hands with a dominating performance, and I really don't know what else to say, Niz.
Yeah, they hit the ground running. They started off really well. They got first blood because of a good bait by Drop. From there, I think they started off, they went to 3-1 in the kills, and then from that point on, they just made really, really good trades and got towers all over the map, and they really snowballed off the back of those towers. They had a ton of gold, definitely a huge gold advantage. I actually didn't take a peek at it to see what it was, but it definitely was a gold advantage.
Yeah, over 15k.
Yeah, and well, they just kept pushing. They didn't take their foot off the pedal, and they just kept pushing, and they ended up winning the game with early racks.
Well, that'll be it for us on this game, guys. However, we will be following Hot Hands into the next game, so if you enjoy watching them, please stay on this channel, as that's what the next team will be. If you enjoyed this cast, though, please follow my Twitch down below. You're already sitting here, so it'd be awesome. Also, if you guys enjoy these casts, check out the VODs. They are linked below on my schedule, on my YouTube, on my Twitch, but it's also YouTube/DotaRaptors. And of course, please check out Niz at all of his media outlets: Twitch TV/NizCast, YouTube/NizCast, of course his Twitter @NizCast. But we will see you guys in the next few minutes with the next game.